Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Football Commentaries Podcast. We've got everyone back today for the first time in a couple episodes. We've got Harvey again, he's back.
Hello.
Kenzie and Ben as well. Just want to say
Hello.
hello. Ben will be in the description again, his channel. We do stuff on each of his channels, so go and check his stuff out.
Cheers.
So, today, we're going to try and discuss a few topics for as long as we can. I just want to start off with, obviously, the Ligue 1 being banned today from playing football till September by the Prime Minister or President. So their league's been cancelled. Do you think the Premier League might follow in the same footsteps, or do you think there's a way for the Premier League to keep going during this or after this?
I think it could. There's a possibility it could carry on. Obviously, it'd have to be behind closed doors. There's a chance.
Yeah.
But it's so unpredictable. Anything could happen.
Yeah, it's like at this point, I don't even care if they're behind closed doors. It's
just as long as there's football.
Yeah, because like before all this, all the football fans are like, "Oh, behind closed doors, that's so rubbish. Why would we want that?" And now we've just not had football for so long. I just don't care how, where, just any kind. We discussed in the first episode, and it's just a bit relevant now. Do you think it'll get cancelled and there'll be promotions and relegations, or do you think it'll be like the Dutch league, where they've just completely scrapped the season like it didn't even happen?
I think it's a bit unfair.
Do you think we can do that? Yeah, because it's unfair.
Yeah, I feel like it's unfair. Obviously, on Liverpool, they only needed one win to win the league, but then it's also unfair on teams that are in the relegation zone.
Yeah, because you can't really go, "Oh, Liverpool can have the title, but no one's getting relegated." Because then that's kind of like it's kind of the opposite.
That's unfair on the division below as well. Like
exactly,
who have won the league there, and like who's going to win the playoffs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because of how close we were to finishing the season, but at the same time how far away we were. It's like we'd play so many games. It's hard to just act like it never happened, but there was like quite a lot of football games to be played still. Because obviously this is what kind of stopped in the league, kind of stopped February time, so that's nearly 2 months now, coming up to 3, where the league's kind of stopped, and it's like, and it would have been coming to an end near enough now. So I find it hard for there to be a way where we can give Liverpool the league, because I feel like we have to. Because if it was my team, I'd be fuming if my team were given the league the position they're in, because it's like when City were like 20 points clear, like I think it was 2-3 years ago, completely dominated everyone, and then the league not being given to them. It's kind of it's a bit unfair. Do you think there is a way, or do you think I don't know? I'm stuck because our league's just so in a difficult position, because obviously Liverpool haven't won the Premier League yet, and they're so far away, but they haven't mathematically done it. I think it's hard for there to be a way around this. Is any ideas of how this could maybe be resolved in any way?
I don't feel like as a fan they could carry on with the league, but then you never know, there could be a way.
Because I think UEFA gave like leagues. I don't know if this is the Premier League, but they gave a league like till like the end of next month to try and restart the league. I think it was a Premier like 25th of May. I think it was.
Yeah, it was something like that.
So that's now more pressure for them to do something.
Yeah.
It's just a really difficult one, because you can't not give it Liverpool. Like, you can't not. Like, they've completely smashed everyone pretty much, other than Watford and that draw to United. But other than that, they've battered everyone. Because with the behind closed doors, what people don't understand, and what I kind of forgot about until it was mentioned, was you still need loads of people at a football game to get it done. You need medical staff, you need like the coaches, you need, the fourth officials, the linesmen, the referee, So they're all going to be close contact with each other.
Mm.
You need like the people that like BT and stuff and Sky.
Yeah,
that are going to record the games.
Exactly, and then you need like ambulances on site. Yeah, and then that's using up medical staff that may be needed elsewhere. Because obviously, it's not a guarantee they'll be used at a football game, but then you can't take the risk of not having any ambulances there just in case. So that's what kind of people like forget. It's like to do a Premier League game isn't as easy as just get the two teams out there, like the officials, and that's it. Get it going. Like there's so much more to it. So they've got to get away around that. What do we personally think will happen? Do you have any thoughts of what's actually going to happen? What the Premier League
I
going to do?
think they're just going to scrap the season.
Really? Well, that would be harsh. Obviously, I wouldn't mind it. I think it'd be quite funny. But
I think it's like two leagues now that I've done it though, so I just feel like the Premier League are going to do the same.
With League One, obviously they've cancelled it, but they've not said anything about like the who's won the league, have they?
No, I think I've read something about PSG being denied it. I could be wrong, but I think I've read.
Yeah, because let's be honest, like if PSG's denied a title, I don't think they'd be too disheartened because next season they'll go and win it again by about 40 points. So I don't think that's just the dilemma that the Prem's got. To take that away from Liverpool after so many years of just heartbreak, like the Gerrard slip, and bottling it last season to City again. That's just the hardest thing, because I know in the Dutch as well, didn't like this team were going to get promoted. Like
I think
leading by like 11 points, something.
I think this is going to show the character of Liverpool's team.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to, like, if they get denied the trophy, are they going to bounce back the next season, or are they going to like just fall apart?
That's a good point, that, because they could easily capitulate, and because before this lockdown and all that, like they weren't playing great. They weren't winning. Beat by Chelsea, beat by Madrid. In the game, not just on aggregate. Like they got beat 3-2. That's what people kind of forget as well. They were absolutely outplayed on the night. So I feel like, but then again, like you said, they could bounce back and go unbeaten this time and kind of send out a message. So it could go two ways, like you said. I'm not sure, because as well, obviously this will take a massive hit on transfers as well. Obviously clubs, especially maybe not the bigger clubs, but the smaller clubs, they'll more than likely have to offload quite a few of their players, maybe to keep the money. But then
it's quite a hard one with like loans as well. Like that have been from January to the end of the season or something like that. Like, are they going to get extended, or are they going back?
Yeah,
I know that some have been announced that they're getting extended, but
and then it's like extended till when? Because we don't even know when it's going to start again.
Exactly. So
it's a difficult one. I'm intrigued to see what happens, because like I've said many times, like we know, not everyone will be happy with the outcome, which is obviously understandable, because all football fans, their teams will be different positions and all that. It's like mid-table teams, like they've got enough. Like it's not even like mid-table teams. A lot of teams that are just not really playing for much in the Premier League at this point. And then you've got teams like the relegation zone in Liverpool who have actually got something to play for. So then straight away there you've got so the two sets of like groups of people who are going to be happy and one aren't with the outcome. So
you can feel a bit harsh on teams that are like a little bit mid-table, like top six, like Sheffield United. They've been doing like really good this season. They're pushing for Europa League. If they get that taken away from them,
exactly. And like you said about Liverpool, what about if they don't have the same season as last season, and they, kind of not drop their standards, but and not be able to match the performances of this season now.
Yeah, exactly. It gives like
harsh.
the teams to recruit more, and develop more as a team.
And it's easier to attract players when you've got Europe for sure.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, when players look at big teams, they see if they're in Europe or not, and that'll be and the money as well they get from it.
Mm.
You get, for a team like Sheffield United, who were what in League One, League One, what 4 years ago, something like that. Now
Crazy.
bordering on the Europa League spots. That's huge, like in terms of investment and money. That'd be huge for them. But then again, you could just say, well, they could just continue as they have this season. So the problem with this debate is there'll always be two sides to it, which is making it the problem. There's always going to be, oh, what if that, or what if this, and it's kind of like there's no balance to it. So, again, we'll just have to see what happens, because obviously more leagues are just getting cancelled every week, it seems. There's one like kind of dropping out. So, the Premier League, for me, I can't even hazard a guess of what they're going to do. Just because of how... And as well, you've got to remember, the TV money Premier League teams get is ridiculous. That's what some of the teams in the league, survive off. The TV money. And when you get relegated to the Championship, obviously you're not going to be on telly as often and on Sky, and BT Sport don't even do like the Championship. So that's a massive decrease in money anyway. So it obviously people have different opinions, and I'm sure there'll be a vote on it, and they'll go down to the clubs voting on whatever they want. And again, like we said, maybe in a few weeks they'll announce something, so there's a bit more daylight on what's the end goal after all this. Because and as well, contracts for big players. I know this was David Silva's last season at City. What an awful way for that to be finished. Like, not even seeing it all the way out, because people disagree, but I feel like City were kind of going strong in the Champions League, especially, and for him to maybe have, won that in his last year,
and
would have been really special. But that could be taken away from him. Mackenzie's a City fan. Do you think he'll extend it, or do you think it'll just have to end this way, which isn't great? But
I feel like he'll extend it, but I don't think he'll extend it a lot.
I think it'll just be a season.
I think it'll be like a 6-month thing.
Yeah. Because, as well, you've got to remember his age. He's what, 33, 34? So he won't be able to, he will be losing a little bit of his ability. He's not at the minute. That's why he's, been so good for so many years. But he will get to a point where he gets like 35, his legs will start to tire a little bit, and he will lose that quality. I just feel like plays like that, it's really, just upsetting for them. Especially for a player like David Silva. He's been at City since 2010, after he won the World Cup. So 10 years, become an absolute legend for the club. And this comes around and it just cuts it short. It's just unfair, and obviously we can't do anything about it. I think that's what's the most annoying about this. It's so unpredictable when it's going to end, and we just don't know anything. That's what makes it so hard, I think. So hopefully there's an announcement, and then when there is, we'll discuss it whenever that episode is. We'll move on then to discussing under and overrated players. I do want to say thank you to Harvey for giving me this idea.
No problem.
Gave it to me, I can't remember when, but today I've just gone away and wrote down some over and underrated players. I'm just going to discuss them, and you might disagree and you might think they are the opposite. So we'll just go through a couple. For the first one, I think for me, underrated but becoming more known for his contribution and his improvement as a player, Joe Gomez from Liverpool. I feel like, obviously, they went on this season. I feel like last season when he was coming in for Liverpool, starting again like with Van Dijk, I thought he was really underrated. I was like, this guy deserves a little bit more recognition. And now finally he's getting it. Joe got for the England Euros starting 11. Do you think he could make it?
Yeah.
Because he is one of the best centre-backs in the league for me. He's got everything: pace,
I think he could.
power, passing. I don't see a real negative in this game. To be honest, I don't know about any of you. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I think he'll get in the England side as well.
Yeah, I think him and Maguire centre half.
Yeah, you've got a mix of both there, haven't you? With them two centre backs, you've got Maguire, not as quick but power, winning the headers, strong tackler.
Gomez is like an all-rounded player because he's tall, but he's also pretty quick.
Very quick. It's
He's not
scary.
slow.
But I think what impresses me about him so much is he's next to Van Dijk, but still makes himself look like a good player.
Yeah.
You got players around Van Dijk, and Van Dijk makes them look good. But even without Van Dijk, Gomez, I think, still be equally as good without him. And I think that's what makes Joe Gomez so good. But with Joe Gomez, obviously there was a debate between him and Matip at the start of the season, especially because obviously Matip had been at centre back for the last run of the last season, where they won the Champions League and got very close to the league. Do you feel like that was a little bit unfair on Matip getting dropped so easily? Because for me at the time, especially at the start of the season, I think he was one of the best centre backs in the league on form. I feel like next to Van Dijk, I thought he was really good. Do you think it was unfair for him to be dropped so easily?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was unfair, but again, Gomez has come in and Gomez has done a brilliant job, so he deserved to keep his place. But I think if Matip was given the same amount of time, he could have maybe done as well as Matip. Not Matip, as Gomez.
Yeah, because it's just what's really unlucky about the two players is you've got Van Dijk, he's going to start every game, so then there's only one spot left,
and they've got three centre halves as well.
Yeah,
without Van Dijk.
Yeah, and one of them is obviously Lovren, so I feel like he can just kind of, walk on a little bit. He's no good anymore. But I feel like I know Matip got a few injuries, but I feel like if he was to move from Liverpool, what standard of club could he move to and he'd start every game?
Top six.
Yeah, I think he'd get into Arsenal's team. I think Matip joining them would be a great signing. Yeah. That seems a little realistic. If
Tottenham,
yeah, I think he definitely could. I just think people don't rate him enough just because he was next to Van Dijk, and that's why I wanted to mention Gomez and Matip.
I think Chelsea. I think he could get in Chelsea's side.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I feel like, especially in that Champions League run when they won the Champions League, I feel like, he really showed, how good of a defender he is now. Just because Van Dijk was getting so much of the limelight, you could say he was gonna get him just put in the shadows a little bit.
Yeah.
So I definitely go them two centre backs underrated, but especially Gomez now becoming known for his contributions and talent, which is obviously a good thing. We'll just move on, and this kind of has a 50-50 in the Arsenal kind of fan base. Lacazette, personally, I think he's really overrated.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like at first he was underrated.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
And then now I feel like since Aubameyang's joined, he's backed off a little bit.
It's kind of like he's not the number one anymore.
No, I feel like he needs to be in a team where he's like their best striker. Like he's their number 10 or number 9, whichever.
Yeah, I agree, because he came in and I thought, decent signing that from Arsenal.
Yeah.
Because at the time he was, he's linked with one in Barcelona. I think he was linked with, even West Ham. Wow. What a big club to be linked with as well. I feel like it's just he came in. I thought he had a decent start. I know he's had a few injuries, and Aubameyang came in, but I just feel like Arsenal fans like, we need Lacazette back in the team, and then he plays and he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's like
I feel like
he's there.
over the years he's got lazier. I feel like he's
Yeah.
a lazy striker.
Yeah, it's like the ball has to come to him instead
Yeah.
of him working for the ball,
It's like ball to feet. He's like a ball to feet kind of striker.
and that's kind of not how the game's working anymore. Really, you've got to move
No,
to the
it's
ball.
more
You've got
like
to find
fast flowing.
space.
Yeah, it's more like fast flowing in it.
Yeah, because that's what makes like Firmino and Aguero, strikers like that make them so good. Their movement off the ball.
Yeah.
That's what makes him so good. And Lacazette kind of lacks that.
Yeah.
No pun intended there. But just with go on, you're gonna say something.
He's scored 9 goals. It's either 9 or 12 goals in 26 games this season, which isn't that good for a striker of Lacazette's quality and what he's shown over the last few seasons.
Exactly, because a team like Arsenal, they're dying for Champions League football, and when you've got Aubameyang and Lacazette, if both of them can get 20 Premier League goals a season, that you're loving it. That's great, bound for Champions League. But it's like Aubameyang does his part, and then Lacazette just falls behind. And that, I feel like that's Arsenal's real downfall. Do you think maybe he's not adapted to the league very well?
No, I don't even think so. I just
What's
feel
the
like
problem then? What do you think? What's his
I just
problem?
think like the mood around the club. I just don't feel like I feel like it's got him down.
Yeah,
because obviously like the fans and like that incident with Xhaka.
Yeah,
and I just feel like maybe them players need a bit of like boost, like they feel like they're in a dark place.
Yeah, I feel like the club's always under some kind of scrutiny all the time. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to mention them very much, but like Arsenal Fan TV, you can't not mention them.
Yeah.
Because no matter what they say, as controversial as it is, the players will know what they're saying. They'll they'll see it somewhere.
Yeah,
And
like they're all over the internet.
And recently, before obviously this all happened, I saw Arsenal fans turning on Arsenal Fan TV and what they stood for.
Oh, yeah.
Because it does bring a lot of negative. I know it's fans' opinions, and I'm all for that. But it was getting to a point where the players are hearing
getting
this,
a bit out of hand.
and it was getting out of hand. Some of the stuff that was going on, and when you've got your own fans from the same club turning on you for what you're portraying the club as, that's when it becomes a serious problem. Because
I think some fans will be saying that as well, like because it's all over the internet and it's making their club look like a laughing stock.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It became like you thought of Arsenal, and one of the first things that came into your head was Arsenal Fan TV, and that's ridiculous. Like it shouldn't even.
I mean, I love
be...
watching it, but like if that happened to my club, I probably would be a bit annoyed as well.
Exactly.
You'd be embarrassed in a way.
Yeah, as a neutral, it's great. I found it well funny.
Yeah.
These fans who travelled a long way to see the team get battered, as an opposition fan, it's great. But if it's you, obviously it's not. And like I said, I understand it is a fan's opinion, and that should be shared. I agree with that because this is what social media brings, opinions. But then it gets to a point where you've got to like kind of step back and go, right, this isn't just for content and as a living, because obviously that's what it is for them now, whoever works for it. It's affecting like the players, and that's when you need to draw a line, because like if it was I know like United do it, but they do it like United Stand, I think it is, with go to games and all that.
Yeah,
that seems controlled.
Yeah,
that seems like they know when to stop, and they go, you know what, we'll say our opinions about what we think now, but we won't go over the top of it. So I think there's a line, and I feel like now obviously they've got a break. They could maybe reevaluate that and go, right, maybe we were. Let's try and have some boundaries for next season.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of like the players' confidence, they, like I said, they would have seen what they were saying, and some of it was like extreme, especially the Xhaka incident. What did you make of that when you saw that first?
My first opinion on that was, I feel like obviously he's in the wrong, Xhaka.
Yeah.
But I feel like the fans, why are they being their own players?
Yeah.
I just didn't get that. Like, If that was me walking on the pitch, I'd be annoyed. I'd be like fired up. Because why? Like, I'm your captain. Why are you booing me?
Yeah, and it's like you can you can dislike players, you can like players, but I feel like certain fans, and I feel like Arsenal fans are kind of drawn themselves to this label. It's like Xhaka is human. He feels and hears and acts the same way as all of us would. It's not like he's some different kind of species where he can block all that out. It was literally everyone in the stadium booing him, and he's your captain. And it's
I just think
mental.
he's in the wrong. He's in the wrong, obviously, for like doing everything that he did. But like I don't know. He's just.
I think it gets to a point where there's a limit.
Yeah.
Of what you can take as a player, and I feel like for Xhaka, for different players, they might have different limits. But for him, he just reached that limit of right. This is getting ridiculous. I've had enough. Because
in a way, sorry to cut you off, but I kind of agree with what he's done because it represents to the fans what the players are feeling. Because it won't just be Xhaka that wanted to do that.
100%.
It will be players like Lacazette who might have wanted to do that. And it's
100%.
It shows to the fans what effect they have of just voicing their anger and how it can affect the players.
Yeah. Also, I was thinking, like, it just shows the fans that he actually does care.
Yeah. I think
he does care. Because I'm not being funny, but if they're booing him for his performance or whatever he did, and like he's obviously annoyed that they're booing him because he's tried.
Yeah.
He's put his shift in and he's getting booed, which you kind of understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, because and as well when I saw it, it kind of if he was like walk off or smug, arrogant, or I don't care, I think that's when there'd be a serious problem. But the fact that he showed passion, I think, in the maybe ways people thought he could maybe do it a bit better, but he kind of went, you know what, I'm the captain of this club, I'm not allowing this, like to himself. Yeah, obviously some of the stuff he did kind of didn't represent what a captain should do, but I feel like a lot of people in his situation would have done the same.
Yeah.
But I feel like because it's Xhaka, like
he had a bit of hate around, well, not hate, but dislike around him already.
Yeah, and I feel like that was a real. I don't know if it was the players who voted for him as the captain before the season started. I don't know if it was the management. Obviously, we hear things, but we're never sure. Whose idea was it to put him as captain?
Yeah.
When, let's be honest, before he was even put as captain, not many fans liked him. As a player, the way he plays, people saying he's too slow. And then you appoint him as captain. It's like, that's already a negative straight away.
Yeah.
So it's like, straight from the off, it was already going downhill. So that was just, mind-boggling in the first place that he was captain. But that was just a weird incident to see. But then I feel like, even if, I don't know, it wouldn't have happened, but say if it's like a Aubameyang, for example.
Oh, I don't think it would have let off easier.
Yeah, I don't think he would have been put under, the hate and all that Arsenal fans put Xhaka under.
Yeah.
Which is a little unfair, but, he's like fan favourite and all that. But I just, because obviously it's never happened to like any of my clubs that I've supported or anything like that. I just don't understand why you'd be your captain. It's bad, if he has a bad game. And I know he's like walking off and he wasn't helping himself with that. But it's like, if I'm getting booed constantly every week and I'm trying my 110% best to provide a good, holding midfield role like he played, and I'm getting booed for it, I'm not having that. I'm like, respect. There needs to be that respect between the players and fans, and the fans didn't give him the respect, so he thought, well, I'm only human, I'm going to, give the same back, and kind of disrespected the fans in a way. You can see it kind of both ways, why, he did it and why the fans think he shouldn't and all that. Like, that's understandable, but it was strange to see.
Yeah, I've just got a question. Do you think with Arteta coming in, do you think that will give Lacazette a bit more of a boost? And do
I
you
think
think
so.
it'll still stay?
I don't know. I feel like he's got Arsenal playing a good style of football.
Yeah.
Already. I think he's made a really good impact on them. But I don't know because I've not really watched them a lot because obviously all of this has happened now. We haven't really watched them play a lot of football. It could have it just depends really.
I think it depends on the fact if he has trust in him.
Yeah.
If because obviously he'd been at Arsenal for a little bit, like for I think it was like 10, 15 games or something. I don't think Lacazette was starting many of them. I don't think, unless that was because of his injuries or whatever it might be. But if he has trust in him and he starts him, then I think it will boost him. But if he doesn't start many games, I think he might be looking for a move away.
Yeah.
Maybe it might, because people need to remember these moves just don't work sometimes. And if Arteta goes to him and says and goes like, "Look, I'm going to give you this chance. You need to show me what you've got," and he starts banging the goals in, and repaying Arteta's faith, then I think it could have a positive impact, because obviously Arteta under Guardiola, Arteta was more like the man management kind of manager in that duo. Like, he'd be the one that you kind of go to. I'd see it as. So I think he has those qualities anyway. So, it just depends. It can work both ways. It could be Arteta could go to him and go, "Look," he might have said this when he came. He's like, "You're not in my plans," or he might have said, "Look, I know you haven't been in the greatest of form under Emery, but new start with me." In a way, he might have said that. So.
I feel like Lacazette's more suitable for a slow style of football.
Yeah.
Like a Spanish league.
Yeah. Maybe
or French.
Go back to
French.
Go back to French. Yeah. Because like you said, some people just can't hack the Premier League. It's just it's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, it's just physical, fast.
Yeah, and at the start, you thought Lacazette would kind of match all them concepts.
Yeah, he's not the weakest of players.
He's not slow as well.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, he's maybe mentally he couldn't adapt to the pressure every week. Because you got to remember, for every single Premier League player that starts or comes on as sub, you are under immense pressure to perform.
Yeah.
Because if you get one mistake, that's your weekend ruined. Because all the fans will be going on about is your mistake or your poor performance. So maybe you just can't hack the constant pressure of it.
I just don't get it though, because if you think about it, strikers are they haven't really got that much pressure on them in a way, because if you think about it, they've got how many chances to score a goal. A goalkeeper has one chance to save it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like that. I see your point, but it only becomes a problem when they become under pressure, is when they start missing them constantly.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes a problem, where you're kind of like, wait, he should be finishing that, compared to if he's missing a few and then he scores, when it's like, okay, he's redeemed himself. It's when you kind of don't score at all for quite a few games, and you start going, oh, this could be a little bit of a problem. And I think that's what's happened to Lacazette. He's kind of gone missing, stopped scoring, missing kind of big chances, and it's starting to catch up on him a little bit. And some Arsenal fans are calling him out and saying, look, I just don't think he's at it at the minute. So, it depends under Arteta when this all gets started. Fresh start for him. He could completely bounce back and really get back in form, or again he could lose the faith of his manager and he could be off to somewhere else. So
it could just be him not being happy in where he lives. He might not be happy over it. He might be homesick.
Yeah, he might just not like the living style, or there'll be a lot of factors towards it. It's just how you deal with that.
Yeah.
Some people come from abroad and they love it in the Premier League, and then there's some, again, like you just said, who come a bit homesick and just don't like it. It's just how you deal with that. But Do we think Lacazette can bounce back, or do you think he may just have to move on, find a new start?
I think he needs a new start in a different country.
Yeah.
I agree completely. Right, we'll move on. I want to move on to a competition, because I've been watching it more this season before this break happened. The Europa League. I think that is such an underrated competition.
Yeah.
I used to view that as a load of rubbish. I was like, why have they got it? I just think it was a waste of time. Thursdays, kind of collided with the Premier League. But I think it's great. I think some of the quality of games you get are fantastic. Kenzie, I know you're a Rangers fan, so Rangers are in that. What is your take on the Europa League? Do you like it? If you do, what do you like about it?
Obviously, the Champions League's better. It's
of course,
not a question, but I just feel like Europa League, the more majority, it's hard to explain. It's more like different teams, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's like the lesser teams, you're still seeing equally as good talent.
Yeah.
For me, I was seeing when I was watching the Europa League, I was watching Champions League quality players shining in a league below.
Yeah.
Which gets them the big moves in the end. But I was like, it's kind of like the second chance in a way for the Champions League, so it kind of makes it more of a priority for certain teams to do well in it. That causes more competitiveness and, wanting to win it more. But I just some of the teams I haven't seen in Europe, I thought, oh, these are some decent teams. Like I was saying against Rangers, Braga, that first hour at the Ibrox, I thought they were great. Never heard of Braga. I knew they were a team, but I'd never seen them play. Never had interest in them. But I thought, no, they're a good team. And then you get teams like Rangers, who the Europa League is similar level to the Champions League in terms of the meaning for it. Coming back the way they did, and kind of having that big distraction away from the league. I think I'm a big fan of the Europa League.
I think the Europa League just gives lower teams, lower teams to a chance to shine. Gives them a chance to get their name, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's kind of like a stepping stone in a way for a lot of players. The Europa League. As we've got United fans in here, obviously you've been in the Europa League the last few years.
Yeah.
As a United fan in your stature of club, did you enjoy the Europa League? Because I know you've won it once. Did you enjoy it, or did you think, I just want to get out of here?
Yeah, I think if we're in it each season, I think we want to be winning it without a shadow of a doubt. I think it would have been nice to get to the final this year. I think we would have had a good chance of getting there.
Yeah.
I think if Inter would have got to the final, United against Inter, that would have been a great final. And then it would build the competition up, you could say, the meaning having two huge clubs in the final like that. But I think for a team like United, without disrespecting the competition, we are just a club that shouldn't be in the competition. I mean, the way we played, we should be, but for the club, we shouldn't be.
Yeah. It's for me. It's weird to see United in the Europa League, obviously, but from Argentina, it's not too strange. It's because since I started remembering football and all that, it was kind of like when United started to just go down a little bit. So obviously, in terms of memories of football, obviously, I remember that season, where City just won the league, Aguero last minute, and then you won the season after that, and then Ferguson left, and then I don't know what happened, but the downfall that happened at United was ridiculous. It wasn't a gradual downfall. It was that next season, gone. Well, I don't know, what was it, 7th, 8th? That next season under David Moyes? 7th. United going from winning the league into being the biggest club in England to 7th. That's kind of unheard of for United. That was strange. So you feel like, as a United fan, because obviously fans will look at the Europa League differently on stature of club. That's what we're trying to say. So do you feel like United shouldn't be there?
Shouldn't be.
Not their trophy. Yeah, I agree. But it is fantastic to see you playing in the Europa League on Thursday nights. It's just fantastic. Makes my Thursday. Yeah, with the Europa League as well. The only thing I don't like about it is I've never known an upset in it. Like this unknown team in the final who've got like the FA Cup. You get those teams who get to like quarters and semi-finals who win like the League One and the Championship. In the Europa League, I've never seen an upset. Yeah, exactly. It's like in the Europa League that never happens, which is kind of unfortunate because I'd love to see a random like Bulgarian side in the Champions League, like who never even thought they'd make it or something like that.
Well, I think Rangers did all right this year.
Yeah, for sure. Quarter-final, Leverkusen.
Kenji, where do you think Rangers would be happy getting? Where would you be happy Rangers getting?
Well, I think round of 32, round of 16, that's good for us.
Just out the group stage.
Yeah, like if we make it out the group stage, that's a big win for us.
Yeah.
Just to get the money and like be able to go buy a big player. Like obviously in like if you're a United City fan, it wouldn't be a big player. It'd be like a smaller kind of player. But for like Rangers, that's a big player.
Yeah. It's so strange kind of seeing different spectrums of what the competition means to certain fans.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. That's just what I'd like to see more of. Like upsets in a way, where but other than that, I've grown to like it a lot more because the stereotype to the Europa League is, it's just the teams that aren't good enough for the Champions League, and why would you want to watch that? But in hindsight, if you actually watch it and understand the meaning of the competition to certain fans, I think I really enjoy it. I'm going to move on. We'll do like one more of these like under overrated, and then we'll move on. Spoke about him a couple episodes ago about his possible big move to United. Harry Kane. There is some people who think he's really good, and then there's just like I don't even know what it is, like a minority of fans who just think he's really overrated. As football fans and England fans, do you see that argument of him being overrated, or do you think that's a load of rubbish?
I think he's overrated.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
What for you? What makes him an overrated player?
I feel like obviously he's a striker, so in front of goal, he's not really meant to be greedy. But like I don't know if you remember, but World Cup.
Oh, don't! Why are you mentioning it, man?
He was in front of the goal.
The heartbreak.
He was in front of the goal, and Sterling was right next to him. He could have just squared the ball, but he shot and missed. Jeez. That could have sent us through to the final.
Oh man, I don't. Is there any other factors that make him overrated? Because you can't just use the fact that he bottled the World Cup final for England for the first time since '66, and that make him an overrated player. What else is there about him that makes him overrated? So I understand the greediness part, but you can't just say that's why, if you know what I mean.
I don't feel like he can create loads of chances. I feel like he can create chances, but not like sometimes he's a bit slow to react to stuff.
So he's more like a one-dimensional striker in a way. He's only good at like one thing.
Like if you put him in front of goal, he'll probably score. Like 9 times out of 10, he'll score.
But
obviously not in the World Cup semi-final, but we won't talk about that one.
We won't. But you're more talking about the fact that nowadays, as a modern day striker, you need more than just the goal scoring.
Yeah.
Which his goal scoring record is very good, like we mentioned a few episodes ago. But England captain, Tottenham captain. Got to bear in mind he's on track to break the top Premier League scoring record, Alan Shearer. If he stays in the Prem, he could be on for that. Because what is he? 20? How old is he now?
About 24, 25, isn't he?
Let me check. I don't want to get this wrong. All my arguments completely irrelevant. Right, so he's 26. Okay. Right. That's an easy. It's depending on how long he wants his career. That's another 10 years. in the Prem. Because, strikers can play till 36 when they adapt their game. They can just, be like... Because he can be a target man. So he's on track to maybe becoming the all-time top Premier League goal scorer, which is an unreal record. Because it has to be 260. And then he might become the top England scorer. When you say things like that, I can't... Me, personally, this is just my opinion, I just don't see how you can view him as overrated.
Yeah,
I just really don't rate him.
But he scores goals. That's he's not just like every season he bags 20 goals pretty much. If injuries go his way, I personally don't see how he can be overrated when he pretty much does his job. Because I see the argument of he's not a super. He's not got all his dimensions to his game like I mentioned, but. Sometimes it's a traditional striker, and especially an English striker, sometimes you just don't need all that extra package. Sometimes you just need to be able to put the ball in, especially in a Tottenham team as well, where they struggle to score without him.
Yeah.
That's another factor, surely. The fact that he pretty much carries the team, I'd say. Because without his goals, they're nowhere. So... For me, I don't think he's overrated. He's definitely underrated. But Harvey, what do you do? You agree with Kenzie or?
I don't think he's overrated. I think he in a way he just silences people that say that he's overrated. Like I think he got the top goal scorer in the World Cup.
Yes,
the Golden Boot.
Yes, Golden Boot.
Yes, he scored a hat trick against Panama. And they're not the best, but he's getting them goals. He's doing what a striker should be doing, and I think he's doing what he's doing. He's not. Yes, he's getting injured, but he's bouncing back from them injuries, and he's not letting them stop him. And I think if injuries don't happen often to him, I think to be honest, I do think he'll get the record if he stays in the Prem.
Yeah.
But I think if injuries go his way and he doesn't get them, then he'll just have such an even better career.
That's such good. Like, we've got to understand, he's pretty much had an injury every season for the last 5 seasons, and you wouldn't think it. His game hasn't dropped. His goal scoring records haven't really dropped. So the fact that he's come, and you've got to remember, they were lengthy injuries. A lot of them, they were like a month to 3 months on average. His injuries. The fact that he's come back. Not really affects his goal scoring. I think that's a fantastic point. I think that just shows his character as well. That I think people like Lacazette, like we mentioned before, that don't have that mindset of being the best and showing you the best. So you can always be the best, but if you don't show it and you don't believe it yourself, that's when that can become a problem. Because people believe Lacazette's a good striker, but somehow I just don't think he believes it himself sometimes. Yeah. So that's kind of the mindset and the mentality that kind of differs to the good strikers and the world class strikers, like Kane is, in my opinion. Anyway, we're just gonna stop that little segment of over and underrated. We'll just finish with a little debate. We debate topic. Might as well end with it. Obviously, last time we had the greatest comebacks. That was like the kind of debate topic we had, but there wasn't many debates in it other than I think one. So this isn't really a debate. This is more of a question that we're going to talk to because I'm going to stay on Arsenal for a little bit. Do you reckon Aubameyang will stay at Arsenal? Because there has been a lot of talk.
Yeah.
That he's going. What do we think? Leave, stay? Do you think he'll go, or what do you think?
I think if Arsenal get a good offer for him, I think.
What is a good offer for him? Do you say?
I think Arsenal will want around 70-80 million for him.
No way they're getting that for him. No way.
But I think they'll want that for him because Lacazette won't replace him.
Because it depends on the contract as well. If there's like 18 months on his contract, teams will just wait for that and they'll get him on the cheap or for free, and that can't happen. They can't let that happen. Like Ramsey. where they let his contract go down and let him go for free when they could have easily Sanchez as well. When both of them players easily at the time, because Sanchez was actually rated when he was leaving Arsenal. That's like £80 million a player's gone for free, because you easily could have got 40 mil each for Ramsey and Sanchez.
Yeah,
kind of that.
I think they could have got more for Sanchez.
Yeah,
at the time, yeah, for sure. I think they could have got a lot more. I agree with that.
So it says that Aubameyang's available for 30 to 40 million, which I think for a team that could be an absolute steal.
Yeah, depending on where he goes to, for sure. That's a massive. That just keeps happening to Arsenal, and fans must be so frustrated. Happy with Van Persie.
Yeah.
This is more when they moved to the Emirates, they had to kind of pay off that. Like Van Persie left, Nasri, who was obviously a class player then, Fabregas, obviously to Barcelona, and then he went to Chelsea. Sanchez, Ramsey, now Aubameyang for 30-40 million. He's definitely at least a minimum 50 mil, I'd say.
Yeah, his contract runs out next year as well. End of June next year.
He will not be at Arsenal. He will not be there unless they give him a proper luxurious contract. He is out of there. He's not winning anything at Arsenal. The only thing that fans will kind of use to try and keep him is that he's captain. Other than that, they're not going to win the Prem. They won't win an FA Cup, more than likely. They won't win a League Cup because that seems to just be City's thing now, where they just win it every season. They're not winning the Prem. They can't even get in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Why he should stay is he should not stay. For me, if I was Aubameyang, I wouldn't stay. If I was a fan, I'd want, if he's not signing that deal, cash in on him now.
Yeah.
So they don't have that same problem like they did with Ramsey, Sanchez, and all that. And I think everyone will be happy to a certain degree, and Arsenal won't be getting mugged off again. But in terms of those factors, he can't stay. I think he reached the prime, 100%. 100%. He could have gone to City in 2015, 16.
Who?
Aubameyang, when De Bruyne was going to City.
I feel like he's wasted his career.
Yeah, 100%.
When he was at his peak and Arsenal signed him, he just wasted his career.
Yeah,
he could have was to put won Champions League, not FA Cups, like their League Cup or their league title or whatever, and he came to Arsenal and won nothing.
If he were to put him in the Dortmund team they currently have, he would be doing so much better without shadow of a doubt.
Because before Haaland, they were missing a striker massively.
For
3 years, they'd been missing a striker. The only one they'd had was Alcacer, who was for some reason shipped off really quickly. So, yeah, I thought for me, Aubameyang was going to take Arsenal to that next step. But obviously he hasn't managed to do that, and I think he kind of wasted his career a little bit going there. But, that's just a mistake he made, and, he wasn't to know that, so you can't really blame him too much for the move. But
no.
But, it happens, and like you said, I feel like when he signed for Arsenal, I don't think there's much potential in them anyway. So I feel like a move to somewhere else, like a Real Madrid or a City, where he could have easily got a move to, I feel like that would have been a better move for him. But that's his own, that's his decision at the end of the day. So we are going to end it there. This is going out on Wednesday because we couldn't record this on the Monday because people were busy and we couldn't get together. So it's going to go out on the Wednesday because it's been recorded on the Tuesday. I don't know if there'll be a live one Thursday. I'm not sure. I'll see. Hopefully there will be, but I just need to get topics and the information and the facts together for that. So hopefully we will have one Thursday. But if not, there was one uploaded Sunday, an extra episode. So go and check that out. It's me and Kenzie about Scottish football. Really interesting talk. I'd definitely suggest that. So subscribe, like, notifications on so you know if I do go live on Thursday. So you don't have to keep checking the channel. You get notified straight away. And thanks for watching episode 8. And I hope to see you for the next episode.